BoogeyMan band coming round the bend. Is BoogeyMan band. Is BoogeyMan band.
Greetings, my fellow Fright Fiends. Thanks so much for stopping by the Horror Zone channel. I hope everyone's doing well. This is a spooky screenings. I just got out of seeing Lee Cronin's The Mummy. This was a movie I was anxiously anticipating. I'm a huge fan of this director. He wrote and directed this film, and I was a huge fan of his last film, Evil Dead Rise. In fact, it is my favorite movie in the Evil Dead franchise. It was my favorite film of 2023, and I was really interested, based on the trailers and the footage I had seen, of where he was going to take this story. Hearing some of the early buzz about it, I was very much intrigued, and I'm happy to share my thoughts on the film with you today. The young daughter of a journalist disappears into the desert without a trace. 8 years later, the broken family is shocked when she is returned to them, as what should be a joyful reunion turns into a living nightmare. For the cast, you have Jack Rayner as Charlie Cannon, Leah Costa as Larissa Cannon, Mai Calamaway as Detective Dahlia Zaki, Billy Roy as Maud Cannon, Shiloh Molina as Sebastian Cannon, Natalie Grace as Katie Cannon, Emily Mitchell as young Katie Cannon, and Veronica Falcon as Carmen Santiago. The movie was written and directed by Lee Cronin. In June 2024, New Line Cinema dated in an unentitled film written and directed by Lee Cronin for April 17, 2026. The following December, the untitled film was revealed to be a reimagining of The Mummy entitled Lee Cronin's The Mummy. Blumhouse Productions' Atomic Monster and Cronin's production banner Doppelgangers, later renamed Wicked Good, produced for New Line Cinema. It was the studio's idea to put Cronin's name in the title. Cronin was unsure about it at first, but ended up accepting it. Cronin said the studio believed in him and he had total control over the film. Some of the ideas for the film came from Cronin's real grief while dealing with the death of his mother, who died the same day he finished Evil Dead Rise. Cronin said that he initially had no interest in The Mummy, but working on the film helped him process the death of his mother, who died before watching Evil Dead Rise. Cronin described The Mummy as one part poltergeist and one part Seven, but put through my lens in the way that I like to entertain people. I actually really had a great time with this film. It is shockingly gory. I think the cast did a great job. I wasn't familiar with everyone in the cast. I was familiar with Jack Rayner, who plays Charlie in it, because I remembered him from Midsommar. And I remember him also, I think he was in Transformers Age of Extinction. So I was familiar with him, and I thought he did a great job. I've never really been crazy about the other parts that he played, even though I thought he was good in Midsommar. He's not a very likable character. But in this one, you really do like the Charlie character, because him and his wife, Larissa, are dealing with their daughter going missing. And it takes 8 years for them to find out what happened to her. And when you're reintroduced to the character of Katie, after being briefly introduced to her at the beginning of the film, and then seeing what has happened to her 8 years later, it is very shocking. There are some very jarring moments. There is a lot of gore in this. If you're a fan of Evil Dead Rise, you will love this film. Like I've talked about in the past with Fede Alvarez's Evil Dead 2013, which I do enjoy. I think it's a great film. But the thing about Evil Dead Rise that really hooked me was the emotional components, the fact that it's a family. And that's where I was with this. You're with the Cannon family. You're put into the middle of this horrible situation, how she's reintroduced to the family, how they find her, and the state that she's in. And over the course of the film, just how dire things get. And there was one moment where I literally said, holy shit, like out loud. I was shocked at where this one scene went, and it was built so well in terms of the tension in the scene. And it just really got me. And I think the cast did a great job. I also have to say that all of the children actors in this really blew me away with their talents. I haven't seen them before in other films, but man, did they kill it in this. I mean, not irritating kids, very down to earth, very believable, specifically with the types of situations that they're going through. I thought they did a really great job in this. This is especially true of Natalie Grace, who plays the older Katie, as well as Billy Roy, who plays Maud. I think the effects in it are absolutely fantastic. There's some really stomach-churning stuff that happens in this, and again, this does deal with young children being put in peril. So if you don't want to see something like that, I really can't recommend going to see this. If the subject matter of the Evil Dead Rise bothered you, then this is going to bother you just as much. It is very different from a normal Mummy movie. And I've heard people say this doesn't feel like a Mummy movie. This feels like an Evil Dead movie. And for me, it did as well. It just as it went on, especially towards the climax of the film. But that's not a bad thing. I actually had a great time with it. And it's a long movie, too. It's over 2 hours. It's about 2 hours and 15 minutes. I wasn't bored 1 second. It flowed for me, and I was really curious to see how this whole thing was going to resolve itself, and it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. But I am thoroughly pleased with it. I can't wait to see it again. The subject matter was done very effectively. There's some really cringe-inducing moments in it, things that made me really squirm in my seat, which I haven't done in a while in a movie. But yeah, I had a blast with Lee Cronin's The Mummy. I can't recommend it enough for people that are fans of this type of horror. So if you like Evil Dead, specifically Evil Dead Rise, go and check this film out. I hope it does well. I'd like to see more from Lee Cronin. He's one of my favorite new sort of horror directors that are working right now, and I think he knocked this one out of the park. So yeah, that is my thoughts on Lee Cronin's The Mummy. I'm curious if anybody else has seen it and what their thoughts are. Please leave them down in the comments section below. Would love to hear from everyone. And as always, thanks so much for stopping by the Horror Zone channel. I hope everyone's doing well, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Take it easy. Stay scared as always.